Hello, this is Andrew. Welcome to Collaborative Learning. I am a mega fan of The Witcher. Today's special is Making the Most Out of The Witcher Part 1, Andrzej Sapkowski's books and CD Projekt Red games. If you like my work, please give it a like, subscribe to this channel, check the playlists, and support me on Patreon and PayPal. Check out additional links and information in the description box below. The Witcher franchise is old. It's had a cult following in Eastern and Central Europe since the 1990s, with the novels and the Polish show Hexer. It saw global popularity mainly due to the game series by the Polish gaming studio CD Projekt Red. This started from The Witcher 1 in 2007, then The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings. Everything changed in 2015. Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt was ultimately the masterpiece that got the ball rolling for the franchise worldwide. Besides The Witcher 3, there's always been a supporting ecosystem of content that emerged from the Gwent card games to the comics. There's even a Polish musical. The most popular Witcher content are the three flagship Witcher games: the original Witcher novels, the music, and the Netflix Witcher TV show. According to CD Projekt Red, the games have sold over 75 million copies, with The Witcher 3 having sold over 50 million copies. Part 1 of this special will focus only on the most mainstream and high-quality portion of the content, which is the books and the games, and how you can get the most out of enjoying this great world. Part 2 of this special will do a run-through through the rest of the Witcher ecosystem, including the Polish Hexer show, and fan-made epilogues of the Blood and Wine, as well as talk about the future of the franchise. In part 3 of the special, I will discuss Geralt of Rivia's hero's journey, which is central to the novels and the games, along with the controversial Netflix Witcher television series, and related feminism issues with the franchise. The best and most valuable of the Witcher ecosystem are the novels, the music, and the games. The masterpiece is The Witcher novels by Andrzej Sapkowski and The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt. If you have limited time, the novels and The Witcher 3 are the way to go. The Witcher 3 is well known to be one of the greatest games ever made. I'll go farther than that and say that it is the greatest game story and world ever made, and a real work of art. It's been 80 years since the release, and I still see that it's being discussed on a daily basis on the internet, like in YouTube channels and Reddit forums. It's like how people still forever watch Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, Spielberg's Indiana Jones, and Lucas' Star Wars. I'm convinced that The Witcher 3 will go down as a timeless classic and will be enjoyed 20 years from now with new cohorts of people. CD Projekt Red has interpreted the Witcher novels remarkably well. What they did was to take Andrzej Sapkowski's countless brilliant and interesting ideas and lore and massively expand it in depth and breadth. So it's a logical progression from the foundation and personal histories established in the original novels. The environmental settings, the tone, the characters, and the philosophical and moral questions are similar to those seen in the books. It is so morally ambiguous and so memorable that it makes you think about it for a long time afterwards. Countless deep questions are asked about the nature of life. Philosophical and moral questions with gray answers. Grayness and hard choices are symbolic of the world of The Witcher. People often say that the books are better than the movie. It is a common stereotype that the books are better than the movie, as the movie cannot capture all the details of the books. The natural laws of logistics of movie making play a key role, such as bad directing, writing, and casting. But in this case, the books and the games can be binded together as one synergistic entity. The books offer a unique value, and the games offer unique value as well. Without understanding the details and prehistory in the books, the massive story in the games cannot be fully understood. And without experiencing the games, the original story in the novels, however brilliant, can never achieve its full potential. This is because the games have added tremendous value to the world of The Witcher that the novels cannot accomplish on its own. While the novels are great, they are still limited to the power of the written word and the reader's imagination. I know that my own power of imagination is not up to scratch compared to what a big team of talented artists and musicians can create. I could not imagine Tolkien's Lord of the Rings novels or George R. R. Martin's Westeros from reading alone. What CD Projekt Red has accomplished is to create that open world, visually and spatially, with all that detail and color, the sights and sounds and the deep feeling. Like tens of millions of people, my first encounter with the world of The Witcher was with The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. So this first impression etched itself in my mind. In psychology, this phenomenon of your first experience being a thing disproportionately impactful is well known. This is doubly the case as The Witcher 3 was so memorable. So with the knowledge of the games, I read the novels and treated the narrative as a prequel to the world expanded by CD Projekt Red. The music of the series was just as impactful. In Roger Scruton's Beauty, he argues that the music is the most clear and direct pathway to the soul, and that is what the Witcher soundtrack accomplishes in spades. The hundreds of tracks of the Witcher franchise are heavily linked to a huge number of stories and environmental details of the world they made. So whenever I hear a track such as those of Toussaint and Geralt's reunion with Ciri, I am immediately transferred back to those places and moments. And with that transfer, we remember the countless stories and adventures associated with them. So we have this phenomenon of a cross-pollination of sources leading to a greater experience as a whole. Millions of people throughout the world have experienced the same thing. And to be honest, and this is controversial, I think the Witcher games improved on the original novels. I find myself enjoying the story and characters of The Witcher 3 a bit more than Sapkowski's original vision. Sapkowski was one man, while CD Projekt Red had an entire talented writing staff to take his vision to the next level. And they succeeded in spades. Now I'll comment on the other games. The first two Witcher games have a strong focus on the human versus elf conflict. The original Witcher 1 is an open-world action RPG. It's still a great piece of world-building, storytelling, and artwork despite having dated graphics and game mechanics. It is essentially a proto-Witcher 3 from 2007. The foundations of the open world was established here. We have the poor Slavic peasant settlements and the feudal cities. I think it captures the world of The Witcher pretty well, and is definitely worth playing or watching on YouTube. The events of Witcher 1 have relevance in Witcher 3, as some characters are encountered again. It is here that you can see the attention to detail to the novels and all the witchery details. Andrei Sapkowski was a consultant for the game, and it shows that CD Projekt Red adhered to the principles in his books. Witcher 2 represents a large technological leap over Witcher 1. This game has more elaborate graphics and set pieces, but is more linear than open world. The events in Witcher 2 are also relevant to Witcher 3, as many characters reappear and continue their stories here. For me, I like how it added more elaborate set pieces and cutscenes, but I am personally not a fan of its art direction, linear map design, and an excessive focus on politics and plots. The writing is extremely bloated with exposition compared to Witcher 1 and Witcher 3, and there's a lack of focus on human relationships, philosophical dilemmas, and romance. These politics are a strong focus of books 2 to 7 of The Witcher, but I always preferred the stories that focus on characters, relationships, and moral conundrums better. I prefer the Slavic peasant villages, the cities, and the strange creatures more than the Game of Thrones type issues. Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt is where everything comes together. It represents a massive evolutionary step from Witcher 1 and incorporates aspects of Witcher 2 that were successful while adding a ton of its own innovation. The striking part of Witcher 3 is how quickly it drew me into its world, the sights, sounds, activities, and conversations in a unique way. A real sensational overload. The size of The Witcher 3 was also unprecedented to me. It's as if it had 5 times the production budget of a normal game, with expansions the length of entire games. Witcher 3 was a massive exploration of the character of Geralt. In a way, it seems like an entire life experience, with all its richness condensed into 200 hours. I believe that the appeal of Witcher 3 for fans is how it very much draws one into a world with true freedom, honor, heroism, romance, adventure, and enlightenment. For me, Witcher has had an impact since 2015. It encouraged me to travel more and appreciate the great outdoors and hike more. I was inspired to learn more about the mechanics of hero fantasy, myth, and the fine art of storytelling. Many of the philosophical questions in The Witcher 3 planted roots in my mind and encouraged me to seek out more information, which I did. I revisit Witcher and the novels again with new perspectives, and I often interpret things differently and experience things afresh. It is hard not to admire the skill, creativity, cleverness, and diverse knowledge of Andrei Sapkowski and the writing staff at CD Projekt Red. They managed to create a massive saga which hits upon many themes at once: adventure, philosophy, romance, sociology, comedy, and poetry, while seeming all very natural and flowing. For those who want more after Blood and Wine, there is a YouTube channel called Exaltalis that specializes in uncovering all the thousands of details and dialogue options of the Witcher world. I will put a link to it in the description box below. So that's it for part 1 of making the most out of The Witcher. Join me for part 2, where I do a run-through of the rest of the Witcher ecosystem, including the Polish show, comics, statues, and fan-made epilogues. I'll also discuss the future of the franchise. And join me for part 3, where I discuss Geralt of Rivia's hero's journey, the Netflix Witcher, and feminism of the franchise. In the future, I will also be reviewing the rest of the Witcher novels by Andrei Sapkowski, reviewing more statues, and analyzing the great story of The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. Please put your thoughts and ideas in the comment section. They always make a great conversation. I hope you find my review to be informative. Thanks for watching.